Hi, kings and queens of the spirit realm. In today's episode, we talked to Nick Musica, an animal communicator and intuitive development coach. We talked about animal energy, talking to a dolphin, and Frank's love of cats. I'm Lauren Leon.
And I am not a fan of cats.
We are a married couple learning how to develop our own intuition, and this is episode 82 of Clairvoyaging. Wayfeather Media presents Clairvoyaging.
Hello, friends.
Hello, kings and queens.
How you doing today?
We hope
good?
you're well. You feeling good, Frank?
I'm feeling great. 8%, Lauren.
Okay. We had some technical stuff with our guest, and we're so sorry to Nick. It's my fault because I didn't have my computer charged, and I'll never hear the end of it from sweet Frank over here.
I'm so nice.
He kept dropping out, and we're like, so sorry, Nick. So that happens,
It's okay.
to someone like me.
Hey,
Maybe I should seek out ADHD medication. Say no more.
I have a question for everybody. How do you guys find out about psychic fairs and psychic events occurring in your town? Let me know. Is there a master newsletter or something? Just a psychic newsletter, the one.
I think it's called Google
Yeah, is it just me not looking?
because we'd like to start going to them.
Look, new town, new vibes. We're finally settled into a point where like we can start doing things, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get some coffee with our pal Nick now, who
Yeah.
you're gonna hear from in just a second. It's gonna be great.
We're going to have new services to offer soon. So joining the psychic fair, I feel like that's for us.
We are gonna have new services to offer soon,
Right?
right?
Right, Frankie?
Right. And guess what? We decided that once we get into Frankie Reiki,
Frankie.
we're going to be operating under the Clairvoyaging umbrella. So
Yeah.
our website's going to have some services to offer. And hopefully one day, and Lauren's got a thing coming up too.
I got a workshop coming up soon.
We got different things.
I think maybe it'll be ready to announce in like a week or two.
Oh yeah.
So
Let's announce it then.
stay tuned.
This is kind of announcing.
No, it's not announcing.
Oh, okay.
I will. Okay, fine. I will have a workshop coming up. So keep your ears and eyes open and your hands and arms inside the cart.
Cause this is the wildest ride in the wilderness. Anyway.
I think we're obsessed with that ride.
Well, who isn't?
Yeah.
If you've been on it, you like it.
And if you're on our Patreon, you'll see a little blurb of us doing that.
That's right. We have recently done that.
Yeah, it's part of our language here in this house.
This is our love language.
Yeah.
Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah. Guys, this was a great conversation with Nick. All technical problems aside.
You won't know about the technical
You will
issues.
never know.
You know why? Because Poppy fixed it over here.
We're just telling you the little behind the scenes little dish.
Yeah.
But he is fantastic. He's so cool to talk to. And I think it was so interesting to hear his take on how he communicates with animals. So I hope you enjoy. I feel like it's time to play it.
Might be time to.
Might be time to,
Might be time to
maybe
take it to the stars.
take it to the moon. Nick, thank you so much for joining us today on Clairvoyaging. We're excited to talk to you. Can you give us a little backstory on what got you into this work and how you got here?
Yeah. And thanks for having me on. So I know it's funny. We were just chatting before you hit the record button. We're both in Carlsbad.
Yes.
And this started, this version of it, shall we say, the animals showing up, started in Carlsbad about, say 2.5 years ago. My wife and I went to the psychic fair, off of Palomar. And, we walked around the show floor, didn't really see anyone that was really attracting us to sit down with him. And then we approached the floor from the opposite direction, and it was like she wasn't there when we were walking in the one direction. But when we turned, it was like, oh my god, there's this big sign that says medium Adelita, psychic medium. And I have been to psychics since age 17, 18, but I've never been to a medium, and it just wasn't a thing for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, for whatever reason, I felt like she would be good for my wife. I don't know. And I said, hey, Joel, what do you think of her? And my wife said, that sounds great, but you're going to go first. And so I sat down. Yeah, right. And so I sat down for 15 minutes. And I'm thinking 15 minutes in the chair, 15 minutes waiting. And then I'm looking forward to hearing what happens with my wife from this. But I sit down, and Adelita starts by drawing this heart. And she says, this is either a formal romantic relationship or it's an animal. And she circles animal. And then she says, you did too much. And it was my cat. It was my cat, Henry, coming through. He was 22 years old when he passed. The last 2 years of his life, ages 20, 21, we were going back and forth to the vet a lot. You're looking to ease the symptoms of old age. There's nothing to solve. But,
it well.
But what can we do, right?
Yeah.
And there's multiple times he's walking out of the veterinary hospital, clinic, office, whatever we want to call it, with like this lump on his back, like Quasimodo, because he's dehydrated, and that's how you would hydrate a cat.
Right. Yeah.
And there was a bunch of things. We were checking whatever we could for the symptoms to try to ease what he was feeling. So the phrase "you did too much" was a perfect summary.
Wow.
And as my reality of the situation is fast forwarding to my belief system, because I sat down going, like I'll be a good player, and then I can't wait to get and then I can't wait to hear. She's continuing to do her thing, and she says, so now my guides are showing me Dr. Doolittle. They're showing me that you can talk to animals and it's going to be easy for you. And I thought, oh yeah, that's totally true. And I had no reason to think that'd be true. 10 minutes prior, 10 minutes prior, I would have just dismissed it and went on with my day. But, as I'm chatting with this young lady, I'm like, oh, like that's, I don't know. When something lands and it's true, you're like, yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
And, and I just saw her at a psychic fair a couple days ago. We were both vendors there this time. It was cool. And she's like, she's like, I don't remember all of my sessions, but I remember the one with you, and you gave me this look when I said that. And I said,
really?
I said, I want to explain the look. I said, and largely when I'm telling the story, I stopped there with, it landed as true. And that is true. That was the emotional feel I got, this feeling of what it is. But I said, I want to tell you the other things that were in my brain, which was so I met her in March, and the September before, my wife and I are out with a friend who had a healing center in Colorado. And for whatever reason, we're on the topic of the healing center, and she had a dog, and she had this animal communicator come in to do a reading for the dog. And I'm like, what's an animal communicator? What is that? And she goes, it's like a psychic, but for animals. And I was like, that's a thing? Like, that's crazy. I had no idea, no clue, just a few months prior. Right. And so I get this book, this animal communication book, and I'm like obsessing about this book. Right. I'm just like having such a good time with all the stories. And so like for months, I'm just obsessing about this book. And that was September. And in August prior, so now we're going 3 or 5 months, 6 months back. I had Mike, the carpet guy, come over he's been here before to clean the carpets. And my job is to get cat 1 into this bathroom and cat 2 into this bathroom. And our little girl Ninja, she got a signal of something going on. She doesn't like when shit goes on. And so now she's hiding, and it's hard to find her. And Mike comes over, and I'm stressing about it. And I finally get her. And there's this Ferris Bueller moment, like she's coming up the stairs, and I'm going down the stairs, and our eyes meet, right? And I get a hold of her, and I'm supporting her little body, with my forearm. And I'm walking her down the stairs. I'm holding her by the neck and supporting the little body with the forearm. And she reacts because I'm stressed. It's a stressful situation. So she reacts, right? She bites my index finger. Long story short, I end up in the hospital for 4 days because I have a bone infection in my finger.
Oh my gosh.
She really did something.
Yeah. Like I was sweating over the sink, bleeding over the sink. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure this is how passing out feels.
Oh
my
no.
God.
But I didn't, there's no passing out. So like when she said, you're going to talk to animals and it's going to be easy for you. I'm like, man, like I've been like, that makes sense. Emotionally, it makes sense. And if you only knew about me obsessing about this book, telling everyone, and no one else is excited about it. I'm the only one excited about it, right? And then I'm like, oh yeah, good for you, animal communicator. Like, way to go. Getting bitten by your own cat and ending up in the hospital because you didn't pick up the signals.
Right.
And medicine comes in many forms. When I was in the hospitals right off the 5 here in Encinitas, and I'm just watching the traffic going up and down the 5 for 4 days, right? I'm like, what the hell am I doing in here? Like, why am I here watching everyone going to all the places that I'm imagining them going to?
Right.
And so there was some reckoning that I had, sitting there watching all the people going to all the places in my imagination and wondering why am I sitting here? Right. So there's a few things that were at play when she's like, talk to animals, it's going to be easy for you. I was like, yeah, this is hilarious as well. So
wow.
Yeah, so that was the start of it, right? And so she said it'll be easy for you. So I go home and I was like, well, I'll just do my typical meditation that I do, and I'll just find my living cat Chucky. Easy, right? And so I sit down and I do my meditation. I just try to find him, and I see this big bright light suddenly. It's a type of light you would associate with like spirit guides or angels or some high level being. And I just missed it. I was like, no, my cat poops in a box and sometimes on the floor. Not a high level being. That's like, no. And so I call her. I get an appointment with her, and I call her and I go, easy, like this isn't even working. And her feedback was, well, you're expecting things to show up in very specific ways, and that is not how this works. You get to be the open channel. What you get is what you get. Okay.
Yeah.
But I decided to give it a second shot, and I buy more animal communication books, and I get a couple sessions with animal communicators, because as much as I feel like I can do this, right? Like I'm totally firm about it, but I have no idea what it looks like. I don't know how to do it. And as I'm about to get onto a Zoom meeting like this with an animal communicator for a session to get myself a session, I get up from my dining room table and I get this flash of a scene out of Return of the Jedi. And I see the ghost of Obi-Wan and Yoda from the end of the movie, right? And I was like, oh, this is coming from Chucky. I know it is. And he's showing me this student-teacher relationship. And the crazy part about it is that he's the teacher and I'm the student here. And you just know what it is.
Of course.
When it shows up, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking about that big bright light, which was the introduction that I just completely blew off. Because how could this little cat that poops in a box, how could that possibly be? Right? And then I get on the line with the animal communicator, and she goes, yeah, we're here to talk about Chucky. Do you know who he is to you? And I was like, yeah, he just did. And now we're talking about that and how he's here to open me up and so that was the beginning of it all. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You did a couple things that are close to my heart just now. And believe it or not, it's definitely not cats. You tied in, you have a couple of origin stories. You got some Star Wars in there. Little Spider-Man, you got bit by a cat and then got cat powers. I mean, I'm already a huge fan of your origin story here. Yeah.
It's very cinematic.
Wait till we tell our son. He's
cinematic.
a big Spider-Man fan.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Okay,
don't take the cat's head in like a stapler and be like, but I want to do that too. Like, don't do that.
I know. They will oblige.
Oh my gosh.
When was the first time when you like actually had like, I don't know how it presents for you. I want to say a conversation with one of your cats.
Yeah. So So things started to open up for me. And so like the random, we'll call it acknowledgement from the dog at Home Depot that I smiled at, and then you get this energetic connection back, and you're like, oh, that's how this works now. Okay. And the dolphin in Mexico, and like just things started to stack up.
Wait.
This is
Dolphin. I love dolphins.
everyone's gonna have to stand by and let Lauren talk for 30 minutes now.
Say more about the dolphin in Mexico.
Yeah, so this was.
I asked someone one time, one of our guests, if she could hear dolphin thoughts because she lives on a boat, and Frey kind of made fun of me. But but please tell me.
Yeah, so this was, I think we went there in the following July, and so not too far after COVID. We didn't go anywhere for a long time, so this was our first time getting on a plane and going someplace for fun, for vacation after COVID, right? And so we're like kids in the candy store. You could do two things in Cabo. You can either drink your face off, or you can like be a tourist and spend way too much money on activities, right? And so we were the latter.
Yeah.
And you know, boats and snorkeling and camels, and there's an opportunity to go swim a dolphin in tanks, like SeaWorld. And my relationship with dolphin has been open ocean surfing type of thing. That's right. And I never like seeing animals in cages. I get there's a point, but it doesn't feel good for me. You know, ideally they're temporarily and find a home. And so those things are revolving in my brain. And we finally go, yeah, we'll go there. And when we're there, there's a time when we're on like this little ledge out of the deep water, and the trainer is at the head of Liz the dolphin, just feeding her fish, bribing her to stay put and do the thing with her tail and whatever she's doing, right? And there's six people in our group. 1, 2, 3 on one side of her, on her left hand side, and there's 1, 2, 3, and I'm in the back by her tail on the right hand side. And for whatever reason, I thought, well, let me see if Liz the dolphin is game to play. And I was like, well, so let me just find her. And I felt the connection, and then I felt this like overwhelming feeling of sad. And I'm thinking, it's because you live in a cage, right? Like this is why I didn't want to come. This is what it is. But here's the thing, like going back to what Adelita said, you get to be the open channel, and part of that is not your narrative. I don't get to write your story, Lauren. I don't get to write your story, Frank, right? Like, if I want to know how you feel, I get to ask you why. And so that's what I did. I said, so why sad? After I recognized I was inserting my own story. And what I heard back was family. And then that was it. The connection's gone. It's over. So afterwards, I went to my wife and I said, hey, Joel, I need to validate some information. I went to the trainers and I said, we had such a great time with Liz the dolphin, curious what her background is, mom, dad, siblings, like what's going on with this little dolphin. And I was told, well, dad's off the planet. And I'm tracking the conversation, like what's the thing that's important here? It's not dad. Mm-hmm. What about mom or siblings? Oh yeah. Mom and her sister are right over there. Like,
no.
In the other pool. Oh, the pool that's separated by a 4-foot concrete wall from the pool that she lives in.
Oh man.
No.
Right. And mom and sibling are over there. Well, why? And how long? Well, because when mom had the second baby, Liz still wanted attention from mom because she was 2. But mom had to feed the baby. So we took mom and the baby and put them in the other pool. And that was 3 years ago. Liz is 5.
Oh God.
Right. So imagine living in a condo townhome situation, right? You share a wall with loved ones. You can never walk out the front door of your place and into the front door of their place, but you know they live there. That was her situation.
What a drag.
Right. So for family sad. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Right. And right. So it had nothing to do with her living in this pool and a cage like I thought about it. It was her situation from her perspective, and the reality of her perspective, which is what this is all about.
Wow. Oh my God. That would be such difficult information to have, and then not be like, she's sad.
Yeah.
Liz is sad.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Did you like how open are you? Were you like, by the way, I talked to dolphins, and because not everyone's going to take that well.
I'm way more open to talking about it now, for obviously, and at the time I'm trying to figure out the world and feel like what makes sense and what's appropriate for conversations and I don't. I would imagine going back now, I would try to feel out the situation a little better and go, how productive will this be? Does this have a chance of being productive, right? And
sure.
to get my feet stepped on. But it did feel like, what's the point of having this information if something can't happen from it, if something productive can't happen, right? So I heard about dolphin energy, reading books or talking to someone. I don't remember how it happened, but I thought, like, that's not what I got from Liz. I didn't get this exciting feeling from her. I got the sad feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I found her the next day. I woke up early and I tuned in with her, and the conversation that I had with her was, I understand your situation, and there's a real opportunity to be an ambassador between animals and humans, and that there's a lot of purpose in that, because people really need to be woken up to these things. And when I thought the word purpose, I felt this little dolphin just come alive with all this energy like she didn't have before. And I thought, that is how you can make a difference. It doesn't have to feel like a parlor trick. It doesn't have to feel like it's not productive. There is something that you can change, even in situations that are not ideal. So that was a learning for me and for her. It was super cool.
I'm too like emotional for sad dolphins.
For dolphin depression.
Yeah. Sweet little Liz.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So from there, what was next in your journey? Like, what did you decide to do after that?
Yeah. So so those types of things would show up. I volunteered at a horse sanctuary for about 9 months, and that was amazing. And then it was super cool. And then one day a buddy of mine goes, so do you think you could do this for other people? And I thought, I don't know. No idea. And so I went on to Nextdoor, which is, Facebook-ish, but not friends. They're strangers, same conversations, different people, same conversation.
Same rage sometimes, yeah.
People yelling about stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Let me tell you why I'm unhappy about a thing. And I went on there and I said, hi, my name is Nick Musica. I'm an animal communicator. That means I psychically talk with animals. Click here for free 15 minutes. Let's see if this is going to work or not. And then I started to see, like this it wasn't political, but the same dynamics that you would see, like this guy sucks. No, this guy's great. No, this guy sucks. No, this guy's great. Right. I started to see that, but I created it this time. Like, this is crazy. No, this is awesome. This is crazy. What is this for real? Now you should do this. So I started to see this. I'm like, what did I start? What did I just do? Right. And so I'm having that feeling of, oh God. And at the same time, I have a browser window open and I'm capturing the data in the form submission in a Google sheet. And so I'm really not waiting to see if someone's going to submit, but I have it open. And then I see the first row fill up with a woman's first name, last name, name of the animal, age of the animal, the basic information, 3 questions.
Yeah.
And I feel her come through, and I'm like, oh, this is going to work. This is going to happen. This will be fine. This will be fine. But I still don't know. Right. But what I realized is that was the intention of her wanting me to talk with her animal. That's what I was picking up.
Right.
And so after 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was that I was talking with this young lady, she says, so the reason why I want to chat with you today is because my prior animal communicator passed, and me and my friends are looking for a new one. Would you be okay if I refer my friends to you? And I was like, no, thanks. Right. So I'm looking to get out of it. Can I do this for someone?
Oh my gosh.
And if she left with, hey, that was great, thanks, I'd go, maybe. People say nice things all the time. But she's offering up her friend group. right? She's saying, I'm going to send people to you. That's different. I was like, oh, that's what I needed to hear first time out of the gate. So that was it. And now we're off to the races.
Wow.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Like the first person who's like
first person. Yeah. And the right feedback. Like I personally got what I needed to hear to go, let's do this.
Wait,
that's so cool.
Quick sub question. When you use a term like off to the races, are horses offended?
That's hilarious. I don't know.
Okay, we'll follow up later on that one.
How do horses feel about that?
Oh my goodness.
Are horses like woke? You know?
I think they would feel confused. Like we're the ones off to the races. What do you think you're doing?
So
oh my gosh.
When you said that you feel you were looking at your spreadsheet and you felt her come through the intention and the want for this need. Like what does that feel like? Is it just emotional for you, or there's some other sense to it?
No. So imagine if you're standing outside and you're just you're not moving. You're in a field of sorts at the beach. You're at the beach here in Carlsbad, right? And you're just chilling out, looking over the railing, watching the water. And all of a sudden, because you're quiet, you can, and nothing's distracting you, you can feel when the wind shifts, right? And it's just it's just not blowing from this direction anymore. It's now blowing from this direction, and you just pick it up. But if you were walking, you wouldn't have picked it up. If you were talking with someone, you'd be involved in something else. But there's this shift that happens. And it's that subtle shift where you go, oh, there's something going on. What is going on? And so that subtle shift in the wind, shall we call it, is what came through when the woman submitted.
That's really cool. I mean, so much of psychism is like being still, you know, and we always talk about it, like paying attention to subtle shifts and just being open and available to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I chat with animals, and I work with people on their intuition and do some other coaching. And 80% of all that work is really working on self, because you can't help anyone else if you're not willing to like step into things that you're going to get dirty in, right? Like make yourself feel uncomfortable and work through those things, treat yourself well, eat well, sleep well. Like if you're not doing those things, you got nothing to offer anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even you just talking about the story of like posting on Nextdoor, I felt a little bit of like, oh no, you're out there now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah. Cause I've been in the SEO digital marketing world since 2003 at least. And as I hit that post, my internal narrative again is, oh shit, like if I say this, will people still pay me for that?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things I had to get over and go, well, that's not part of this. It's just, it's just, I can make it as much of a part of it as I want to. Also, it's no part of this. It doesn't belong here.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because we talk about Frank is learning Reiki and and I learned Reiki and then gave him his first 2 placements.
I was writing her coattails for a while. She's a Reiki master and she was like, I'll attune you. I'm like, sure, whatever. And now I'm like, I do this with the kids sometimes to help them fall asleep. But now I'm like, okay, I'm actually gonna be a practitioner myself. So I'm now doing the work for the first time.
Yeah. But I was because I was I don't think I want to be a one-on-one practitioner. And he's like, that actually sounds kind of great. So anyway, but it's funny because just what you said, when we're artists, creatives, and filmmakers, and it's funny how we had this when I first learned Reiki, I was like, does this mean I can't do the other stuff? If I do Reiki, can I not do writing or
fart jokes?
Filmmaking?
It's fart jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is you can do all of it. It can be, you can make it what you want. And that just resonated what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fart jokes hit SEO real well these days. That's a hot topic. That is a hot topic.
It's a universal thing. Yeah, I
It goes
encourage
well
it.
with Reiki too.
Are you still in the SEO world?
I am. But yeah,
Cool.
a lot of focus is put on this work and getting out there and having these conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, when you now, I've heard like animal communicators, and I know like for everybody, information comes in different ways. Like,
Mhm.
I'm clairaudient or I'm clairvoyant or whatever. How now that you're like in it,
Yeah.
how does information come through for you? Do you hear like words?
Yeah. So
And
let's
you just like know.
sometimes. So let's back up to the aspects of the animal. And when I say animal, we're including that. All right. A lot of people go, "Oh, look at all the animals. You're one dude." just
Yeah.
just because you have thumbs and credit cards doesn't make you anything less than that. Right? Don't separate.
Yeah.
That's how problems get started.
Yeah.
And so there's
Right.
there's the higher self, there's the personality, and there's the body. And so those are the aspects of the animal that are available for communicating in one way or another. The ways those aspects may show, for me specifically, is hearing things. It's funny, hearing things, seeing things, and feeling things largely is how it shows up. So hearing things, sometimes it's sort of in a voice I don't recognize. Maybe it's a version of my own. I don't really know, but I'll hear something. Sometimes it'll be the client's voice, the human that I'll hear. Sometimes I'll hear this was a hoot. It was a young lady who was I think she was in New York. And when her dog came through, it had this Boston accent. I was like,
and the best.
And like the attitude to go with it too. Like, no shit. Yes. Like, I was like, okay, I'll pay attention. Got it. Okay. And so when I got her on the line and I started to just, shape the framework of the information for her, I said, so before we get started, your dog talked with a Boston accent. Does that mean anything to you? And she said, well, I have spent time in Boston. And I'm like, so you know the attitude of the people. You know that feeling. She's like, oh yeah, I know it. Right. So it was relevant for her. So it was cool how to have her now imagine this information coming through with that attitude, with that, straightforwardness, because that's how the dog presented. It was great.
There is like a social personality to that accent. So like, that's very funny. Yeah. That's very funny. That would be helpful.
I got a number. You like apples?
Yeah. It was great. It was so much fun. But yeah, so typically that seeing and hearing and feeling is how it shows up. Like like sometimes when people show up, like it just happened at the psychic fair this weekend. Like when someone shows up and it's very emotional for them, like it hit, just like with Liz the Dolphin, like it hits me and I'm just like, oh my God, like I feel a way for a moment. And then it has to flush out of my body. And then I'm like, oh, this is a very emotional thing for you, Lauren. And you're like, right. Even if you weren't emotional to begin with, there's a recognition of that emotion.
Do you get information about do they tell you information about their past lives or like anything like that? Or is it what is currently happening? Like, here's why I am sick, or here's why I feel anxious.
Yeah, I would love to get into the Akashic records, and I think that's the thing I'll step into. But right now, it's very much this life and this home. Like a lot of folks want to go, where did the animal come from? Let me know. And very few times it's been relevant. There was one time it was relevant was because the young lady I was talking to, she would do something that triggered the animal with the PTSD the animal had from the prior home. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, why does the dog go under the table and won't go outside when I open the door? And most animals will go, yeah. Let's talk about this home. Let's talk about the now. But for this one, it was, she's doing the behavior she's exhibiting, even though it's not aggressive, there's no malintent. It looks like the prior behavior that didn't work for this animal. And so that was relevant for her relationship with this animal in this home. And so that's why that came up.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Stop doing whatever is triggering that.
That's right. Yeah. But I do get, and this is like, I'll get folks coming to me, and a lot of folks, like they have these feelings of my dog passed. I feel like I had this connection and, right. And so sometimes it's that type of conversation that shows up, right? And validating folks and their feelings on things, and they feel better. Like it's a real thing for a lot of people. And I recognize that as helpful. And the ones where, I get off the line and I'm like, oh man, from a skeptical perspective, because I like to hear the details of things, right? And so there was a young lady, like Australia. I want to say I'm big in Australia. I'm not, but it feels that way when people from Australia like show up. You're like, I'm big in Australia.
Yeah.
But you're right. I had a young lady from Australia show up, and her question, I asked folks for 3 questions. One of her questions was, if I get a new couch, will the cat pee on the couch like it did the old couch? And my typical process for a while. Yeah, right. My typical process for a while has been talk with the animal on Wednesday, debrief with the human on a Friday. And so I'll tune into the animal and I'll just spreadsheet away and take notes and take notes and take notes. And one of the things that I took note on was, it was table, glass was the note that I took. So when she gets on the line, I'm going through the notes and I'm like, you got to help me out with this one. I don't know if there's a table on a glass. I don't know if it's a glass table. I don't know what it is, but what I heard was table, glass. And she goes, well, I broke up with a boyfriend about a year ago. I got rid of everything that was his. The one thing that I've been holding on to, and I've been meaning to get rid of it, is this glass table. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like this is super cool when this happens. And yes. I said, I can't guarantee. No one can. People are people. They do people-y things. Dogs do dog things. Cats do cats things. Will the cat pee on the couch? I don't know. But I would highly suggest getting rid of that glass table before you get this new couch. And also, let's talk about the couch that the cat peed on. You had this when your boyfriend was there. Mm-hmm. Did you guys sit on the couch at night watching TV? Was it you? Was it him? She's like, he would sprawl out on this couch. I was relegated to this little chair off to the side of it.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So,
I'd pee on the couch too.
Right. And so there's this modeling behavior of like, get him fully out of the house. And here's how we're going to do that. I will use everything at my disposal. I will pee on this couch. Right. So get rid of the table, then get the couch.
I feel like our cat Juji probably had a lot of things to say to you. You were such a not a cat person. And
can I? The truth
Frank
is, hold on. They made me not a cat person. I was a fine animal person. I love animals. I know. And then I was like, oh, what are these guys doing?
My cat was just a nuisance. He was so like cute and he had the best personality, but he would pee on my stuff. Like before Frank and I even got together, he just like peed on everything all the time. And Frank would be like, why do people have cats? And then we had these cats for like 10 more years. They lived, one of them, he lived till he was 17. The other one lived till she was 19. And then the other one lived till she was 20. And Frank, just much to Frank's dismay, like he's super allergic, but it's pretty funny. We should have. I need a
disclaimer of
Nick.
That's just I treated them very nicely.
You did.
When Lauren was pregnant, I did all their boxes all the time. I had a schedule. It was spick and span in there. But yeah, I think, because before we got together, there was a little bit of upheaval in your life. So maybe,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
so much.
I mean,
Yeah.
From my experience, and I don't talk to animals, the cats hold on to a lot of emotion.
So let's talk about that. Right. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. And so this is, so people come to me because of a 3D problem, right? My cat's peeing on the couch. What happens if I get a new couch? Will that happen again? My dog's biting people. Can you tell him to stop? Right. So generally speaking, people come to me for one of those behavioral type of problems. And the conversation typically takes a right-hand turn. And it's like, hey, Lauren, so let's talk about the thing. Right. And you're like, but I came to you because my cat was peeing on my bag, Nick. And I'm like, yeah, we're talking about that. Right. It's all happening. So here's the example. So, young lady comes to me and she says, my dog is biting people. I have people come over and this little Chihuahua is just diving at their ankles. I can't bring people over anymore. The dog's biting their ankles. Tell the dog to stop doing that. All right. Well, my promise is I will have the conversation. I will ask the questions. I can't guarantee anyone's behavior changing. That's just, you can't tell someone to do a thing if they don't want to do the thing. It's not how this works. Any of this works. And I said, but I'll have the conversation. And so I tune into this little Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua says, you need to ask her about her job. Well, why? Because that's what has to change. Okay. So I get her on the line, and she says, did you talk to my dog? Mm-hmm. Did you tell him to stop biting people? Well, what'd you talk about? What do you do for a living? I'm unemployed. You're not unemployed. How do you make money? Well, I'm a private driver, Ubers and limousines. How's that working out for you? Well, my back is all banged up. After about an hour or two driving around, it's very irritated. And my doctor tells me I shouldn't even be driving. Oh,
wow.
Okay. And I tell her what the dog says. And as I'm telling her what the dog said, I get this quick flash of roses. I go, what do you do with roses? And she says, well, I paint roses on vases and I give them away. Oh, this is fascinating. Let's take a look at these two pieces of information. One, and she comes in hot into this meeting. Like she's not a happy person. And I'm like, oh man, right. How's this going to work?
The ankle biting has to stop. That's what she's after.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not happy with self. And what's happening is the dog is going, I'm just going to show you who you are. It's a mirroring behavior with the dog.
Wow.
Right. You're angry. I'm going to show you what angry looks like. Here we go.
Yeah.
And so I tell her what the dog says. And I go, let's take a look at these two pieces of information. One, causing you pain, brings you down, right? Not a whole lot of benefit there. And then there's this other thing, brings you up. And not only brings you up, but you give it away to other people and you bring them up too. So less of this thing over here and more of this thing over here. So that was the advice from the dog, right? I'm just seeing it and going, here's what it all means.
Wow. Did you ever hear from her again?
I didn't. But here was the cool thing about this one. It was like the next week someone shows up and I was like, who is this? And I asked folks like, how did you hear about me? And they mentioned a name that I was like, that's familiar, but I can't place it. And I go back into my spreadsheet where I take the notes and I have everyone's information. And I was like, oh, that's the Chihuahua lady with the bitey dog. Oh, I had no idea. Right. So she obviously talked to someone. And I don't know what her take on was it, but someone was like, that sounds cool. I'm going to go. And, and so, I got a referral out of it. So, okay.
Yeah, that's as good as a glowing review.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Like these animals, when you hear these stories, like they're so wise. They're like picking up on this information that is so to the human, like, duh. And it's weird how the reaction, I don't know, like this dog is biting people's ankles because the energy probably in the house is not great.
It's angry.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that's so fascinating.
I actually have kind of a macro question related to that. Do all animals know that they can talk to you? Or is it more of like, is it more of a, I don't know, is communication just like this like universal thing that all things are doing all the time? And it's just a matter of we are telling ourselves that like these things can't communicate with us.
Or like, if you tune into it, then you're like picking up almost like this flowing channel of information.
I think it's all of those things.
Yeah.
I think all the things are communicating all the time. In whatever way they do it, and all the time maybe too much, but yes, right. I think from their perspective, having someone who can communicate with them, a human specifically, that's not typical. So they're like, oh, and now a human is part of this. That's cool.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, I think we all have something available to us, whether it's Reiki or mediumship or animals or trees or people. Like, I don't know, but this is available for all of us in some way or another. It's just a matter of doing the work, and let things unfold and have it show up. Right. So here's for folks listening and they're like, I don't know what that means. And I'm interested, but I'm not quite sure. Here's my basic framework. And I sort of got it to some degree from a surfer in Hawaii. So I go to Hawaii, I get the surfing lesson from a world champion. He lives on the island, and I get the surfing lesson, and I think his name was Uncle Brian, who set up this surfing lesson. And he goes, I got someone for you. I'm like, okay. And he's like, are you available? He picks up the phone. Are you available? Uh-huh. When can you be here? 30 minutes work for you? Yeah. Okay, 30 minutes. You'll see you in 30 minutes. He's like, do you know who Sonny Garcia is? And I was like, yeah, I know who Sonny is. Yeah. I mean, I don't know him, but I know who he is. And so I get this lesson from Sonny Garcia, who's grown up and surfed on the island since forever. And as we're surfing together or chatting before, afterwards, I go, I'm projecting my life in Hawaii, living out of a car with a surfboard, right? Because I'm like, I would only want to surf the entire time I'm here. Like, what else would you possibly do?
Yeah.
Other than just surf all the time. And I go, I bet you surf like all the time. And he goes, like I train every day. I'm in the gym, I'm on the mountain bike. And when contests come where the waves are good, I'm surfing. I was like, oh, okay. So there's training days and then there's game days. Okay. So in my world, there's training days, meditation every day. And then there's game days. Actually the times you talk with the animal. So that's the basic rhythm of getting this going, is having a meditation practice and then the application of that vibration.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
That's actually kind of awesome.
Yeah. We're both gonna.
Everyone's got to meditate more. It's just no matter what you do, like no matter what practice you're in, you just got to meditate more and get still and like find center.
Yeah. The quiet that you talk about is so important.
That's it. 100%.
Yeah.
That's the secret to all of this.
It is. It really seems like it is.
Yeah.
Especially now that I'm back in the phase of like, being a student of learning Reiki. And I'm following someone else's, like syllabus essentially of like what their introduction to things were. And I'm just like, oh yeah, like everyone's talking about meditating again. And we used to talk about meditating on the show all the time. Like it was such a thing. And then we get into the weeds and talk about other things. But at the foundation of it all, it really is just meditating.
Yeah. I love that.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed or sensed different communication styles between species? Like do all Boston Terriers have a Boston accent? Put it that way.
Here are the things that I have noticed. Like dolphin energy is a very real thing. Like that very exciting energy is a very real thing. Chihuahuas present, at least for me, the same way they do in 3D. Like they are so expressive. And I remember talking to a little Chihuahua, and I'm like, man, they are so expressive. And so when you're when the communication is happening, thoughts are going back and forth, right? So I'm hearing these things coming through and I'm taking notes, and I think to myself, man, Chihuahuas are so expressive. And this little dog goes, yeah, but I'm pretty. I'm like, okay, right. Okay. Yeah, you are. Okay. Talking to the personality.
You are a pretty little pup.
Horses are extremely healing.
That's what we've heard. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was my 9 months with them. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, it's therapeutic to be around you guys like all the time. As I'm cleaning up poop, it's therapeutic. Yeah. Cats are like sort of like sneaky in this way where I'll connect with them and then I'm like, where are you? And then it's like, oh, well, like you feel the connection and then you're like, but where are you? And it's like, oh, you're sitting right here. How long have you been here? That's how they present to me.
That just feels so true.
That's so funny.
Dogs, not recently, but in the past, I would see them like at the back of a yard by the fence, and they would run up to have the conversation.
Aw. What's the weirdest pet? Has there been a weird one that you've been asked to communicate with, like a salamander? Or
No. Dogs and cats are the norm.
No one's bird or anything?
Not yet.
Yeah.
No, but my experience was talking with, this was a good one. Oh my goodness. I've talked to, in my own experience, the dog at Home Depot, the Dolphin, snakes when I'm hiking, I can see the energy of the trail that they create. That was happening for years before.
So you're slithering.
Yeah, sort of. That was happening for years before the animals actually showed up, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
That's cool.
Yeah, and there was one morning. This was amazing, and this is like when Adelita said, "You got to just be the open channel, and what you get is what you get, and how you get it is how you get it." Right. And so there's this one morning, we're right off La Costa Ave. So if you guys know the geography, we're on the south side of La Costa, and we overlook the road. And then there's units on the other side. And then there's the golf course. Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of coyote activity on the golf course. And one morning, my wife wakes up like 4 a.m. Our screen door is the sliding glass door is open, the screen door is there, and she gets out of bed, and that wakes me up a little bit. And she goes over to the door. I can see her, and I'm half asleep, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then I started to hear it. I started to hear the coyotes, and I was like, oh, that's a gorgeous sound. Yeah, that's cool. And then I'm still looking at her, but what I'm starting to see are these 6 little energetic bodies, blue and white. And when the coyotes would howl, getting to that high pitched sound, I would see these bubbles coming off of these little bodies. I'm like, this is amazing. This is unbelievable. I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I'm just sketching out this little thing, waiting for her to wake up. I'm like, this is what I saw last night. This was it.
Do the other coyotes, do you think that they can see that too? Is it like a coyote smoke signal that everyone responds to, or like a comic book?
I'm going to go with the no, but I think they're way more attuned to the energy and that type of dynamic between them way more than we are on a daily basis. I mean, I think we have to try, like we have to get ourselves there. I think it's more natural for them.
Yeah.
I love that you went to this psychic fair and now you're part of the psychic fair.
you went as a skeptic, and now
it's true.
Has your wife just been like, well, this is Nick now? Like, what a fun journey to just be like, I guess I hear animals and now I'm just doing this.
There was an adjustment period in the house for sure.
Yeah.
I had to adjust to what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it. Do I want to say it? Who do I say it to? Right. And I remember her being, when I was telling her this, she's like, you're going to tell people what? and here's the part of it. Like it's there was no getting away from it. There was no not doing it. My emotional health was when I was like, what do I do with this? When I was sort of looping around, like, how do I express this thing? And what is it? I don't know. My mental health, my emotional health wasn't going in the direction that I wanted it to go in.
Yeah.
And then once I started to act on it, different, better, things start to change. Yeah.
It's very funny because I found myself in the middle of this journey as well. And that, sometimes you just got to work with what's being given to you, like, as someone who, tends to try and like, I want some semblance of control over like what I do. Like, I'm in a space right now where like, I must get into like Reiki work. And, my life before that, where I was like doing corporate stuff, it wasn't good. It wasn't good for me. And I did it for way too long. And I'm still working through some of that. I don't want to call it trauma because some people have, more violent trauma than that. Mine is the trauma of extreme boredom. But yeah. And like, since making this transition, I'm like so much better. And I don't know, like it almost speaks towards that, like that soul contract stuff of just needing to work with that energy that's coming in. Yeah.
And I do believe that's what it is. Like you said yes, right? Like you said yes, and now we're here. And so I'm going to have to hold you to that, right? Like someone's holding you to account, and now's the time to go.
Yeah.
We waited a long time, and now we're going.
Now we're in it.
But you're still not sure. So let's work on that part, right? And you're like, this is awful. It's like, well, if you just said yes, it wouldn't be awful. Just say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so true.
It's
hard.
Just
say yes.
It's hard. Yeah, as a person, you want to like, everyone wants to do the thing that we're told to do on the TED Talks. Like, oh yeah, I have a 50-year long-term goal and I'm going to retire by I'm 30 because everything's going to go exactly the way I planned, and like, as if nothing's going to happen that's out of, the plan in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
And that you're not going to have like waning or different like interests along the way.
Yeah.
Or that someday a dolphin is going to talk to you and you're going to be like, well, how is this going to affect my rise in SEO and marketing?
Yeah. I need to readjust this plan. Like this is
I'm looking at my spreadsheet. I don't see dolphin anywhere in here. Like that's a big shift. It's a big shift to make.
Yeah. Does and like, not fit between steps 5 and 6.
And like Nick, I want to like, I'm always wanting to like applaud people who like went with it and like tried it out and see where it went. And then like did the risky thing and like put it out online and
next door of all places,
the lion's den.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
But it was.
It was a great idea.
You got the group that started the whole thing.
They were there. And that's another thing. That's another part of the lesson, right? Like, like they were there waiting for you. And had you not made that choice, they would not have found you. Yeah. And that means you were withholding you from them.
Your special magic. Yeah.
And I sort of went through this, and I'd love to share another animal story from, if we have time, from a book.
Yeah.
So I sort of went through this with like SEO. Like it's such a garbage industry. It has a checkered reputation for very, very good reasons. And I never really want to be a part of that circulation of voices. And I remember telling someone something like this, and they said, well, here's what you're doing, Nick. If what you're saying is true, and there is a checkered reputation, and the folks who are willing to speak up are the ones who lack integrity, you're not giving anyone a choice. You're allowing that to happen by not stepping into it and saying the things you want to say. And I was like, I don't appreciate this conversation. And this person was right. And they were right. right? Like what shows up is what shows up. And if you're not part of the consideration set, then you are not a choice point for anyone. Right. And so same thing with the animals, like, and I had to step into that. We were just chatting about, that 30-year plan that's going to go off without a hitch, right? Never happens. Right. And there's this wonderful book by, I think his name is, Toomey. I'm forgetting his first name, but his last name is Toomey, Tommey. And the book is called Kingdom of Play. And in it, he's talking about these little piglets that are being studied in this controlled environment. And the researchers are watching these little piglets run around, and they're newborns. And he's seeing them running at full speed, and then they belly flop. And then they get up and they start running at full speed again. It's flat ground. It's controlled environment. And they're like, that was a mistake. And then they keep seeing the behavior. This is not a mistake. This is intentional. What are they doing? And they came to the conclusion that these little piglets in this controlled environment are not experiencing what they would in the wild. In the wild, there's trees, there's divots in the ground, there's places they will fall. It's not a straightaway. They're not going to go 100 miles an hour. They will go at a certain pace very fast, but then they're going to eat it, right? They're going to trip and fall. And he's like, they're planning on failure. They're planning on getting away from the predators after they fail, right? They're tripping and falling, and they're planning on getting up. That's the plan. They're actually working on it. And so when folks are like,
training.
Wow.
right? And so when people are like spirit animal, buffalo, lion, tiger, sure. Also piglet, right? Piglet. They are working a solution into the problem that is going to happen. We don't do that. We go 30-year plan, $1 million. Awesome. Let's do it. Right. Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's so funny. The piglets are out there with the big tires doing the training. the high knees thing, the football players are doing that.
Flopping in the mud.
Flopping piglets on the monkey bars.
Yeah.
That's wild. That is true. Like just to have no obstructions in their way and to train for a fall and a get up. That's. I
mean, yeah,
I guess I got piglet energy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny because, like, that feels like opposite of, I don't know, I guess positive, like, manifestation or something. Because if you're like, I'm going to fail at some point, like, it's almost like you're telling yourself you will. Like, yeah, I'm having.
I just don't think about it that way. I think about it as like, there's going to be like, the shit's going to show up, right? I mean, the shit is largely the lessons, right? That we're here to learn. So I'd rather be on the right path, planning to get back up, because we're all going to fall. We're all going to trip and fall. We're all going to have bad days. It's all going to happen, right? But for me, it seems to be the person who gets up the most tends to win for themselves. They're the ones still standing at the end of the day. And sometimes there's 9 people that start the day, and then there's one person at the end of the day because they chose to get up repeatedly, because they're just resolved in terms of that right path.
One little piglet.
One little piglet can change the world. It's true.
I think it is the thing of like, when we are trying to be adaptive to our environments, right? And we're trying to like manifest what we want, you imagining like if something goes wrong, you feel like you're manifesting a problem.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you look at people who like excel in sports and stuff. And like you're talking about, Nick, like it's the training and the anticipation of an issue. And then the fact that you're going to get back up. And at what point is a challenge a hard stop versus the thing that like reinforces your vigor? And like that nuance is a difficult thing to navigate. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer for that, but I think like an individual person might have to really assess what's you pushing too hard for something that like you're trying to make happen that shouldn't happen versus what's a road bump that's going to, like I said, like make you stronger because now you know this is right.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
yeah, perfect.
I think anticipating that like potential, the speed bump is a great thing.
Yeah.
That it's not you being like blindly positive, or what do we call you? Dangerously optimistic.
I call myself dangerously optimistic sometimes.
Like you are saying like, okay,
it'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
And I'm like, well, what happens if this, like I plan ahead sometimes to a detriment. Right. And like going through those things, going through like if this happens and there's a high possibility of that happening, of some like little hiccup, like how does that affect my optimism? Am I going to feel great about it still? And if you want it enough and that hiccup doesn't affect your optimism, then like that's just a beneficial challenge. That's the thing that makes you stronger, I think.
Yeah.
But so animals,
piglets in the mud,
piglets flopping around.
That. I love that.
They're saying, move, get up, people. That's how piglets talk. They're all army. They're drill sergeants. You wouldn't expect it.
Let's go, people.
Nick.
Yes.
Well, before I was going to have you like give all your pitches and your links and everything, but is there anything else you'd like to throw in?
Yeah, I would say for anyone who's still in the conversation, right? If you got this far in the recording, then you're here for a reason. Like I don't think accidents are a thing. There's no such thing as coincidence, no such thing as accidents. Everything is very on purpose. Everything is intentional. And so if you got here, if the conversation is interesting, if animals are interesting, cool. If you're like, I don't know, but what that guy said about Reiki, that's cool. If you're like, I don't like any of these things, I want to go do yoga. Great. Perfect. But go find the thing. Go find the thing that's going to help you get down on this path and start to move on the path. Doesn't matter what it is. And don't stress too much about it. Like go into a crystal store, like you're overwhelmed with what are all the crystals and the sizes and the shapes and the meanings. Find the one you like. Like just go for the one you like, right? And so same thing. There's so many disciplines. There's so many methodologies. Just start someplace. If this broad conversation is interesting, start someplace.
I love that.
It is true. It is such a good point because I'm sure if I mean, you read when you were told about like, oh, you're going to be able to talk to animals, you picked up a bunch of books, but I mean, I'm sure that helped with like some of the exposure. But did anything you read in the books like help you once you were like out in the field and like talking to animals? No.
And maybe if I go back to them now, I can pick up some things and go, oh, that would be a helpful technique or what. I imagine that's true. But what those books served for me at the time was to be excited about this thing. Like I loved reading the stories. I loved it. And I still do. But and that was the benefit for me. Yeah. So, and really it's that instinct of like if you follow your instinct of like, without any attachment, without any meaning, just like the joy of like. There's a lot to be said for that. And in hindsight, I can say that.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Right? In hindsight, I can go, that's what those books were doing for me.
Yeah. We like to say, Frank and I like to say, but are you jazzed about it? If you want to do something, does it light you up? Are you jazzed? And then we're like, okay, I feel jazzed about this. Let's do it.
In the spiritual community that like translates to follow your sacral yes or no.
Yeah.
But are you jazzed is the Frank and Lauren version.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we could do this. Should we do this? We could, but are you jazzed? That's the whole thing. Awesome.
That's cool.
Nick, thank you so much for your time today, man. Like really appreciate it. It was a great chat. Can you give everybody your plugs and tell them where to find you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me at Nick Musica. That's NickMusica.com. Hit me up for an animal reading. If you're interested in developing your intuition, I work with folks around that as well.
Awesome. All right, man. Hey, we should. Pleasure. We'll probably see you at a psychic fair. We haven't like looked up any local ones. Did we just miss a big one or?
There was one in San Diego. It'll be happening again in November. So
Beautiful.
Okay.
That's
that
good
could be
timing.
cool. Yep. I'll send you guys the link, and there's a bunch of shows on there. I'll
Please
shoot you guys
do.
the link. Yeah. And
Oh,
we're
amazing.
right down the street. Do you guys drink coffee? Do you like good coffee?
Yes.
We do.
Okay. We should go
Can
to
we
Lofty
meet up?
Coffee. Yeah. Lofty Coffee is like the place where people go for meetings and like
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
Me neither. That's
Okay.
fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Thank you for listening. Visit clairvoyaging.com for merchandise or to access free resources to help you on your spiritual journey. Subscribe to our Patreon for more content or join for free to chat with us. Clairvoyaging is a fiscally sponsored project of Fractured Atlas, a 501c3 charity. Make a tax-deductible donation to support our mission to foster understanding, respect, and curiosity for diverse spiritual belief systems. Clairvoyaging is a production of Wayfeather Media.